So welcome once again to another Unitrust Corporation investment frequency here on Heartbeat Radio and Radio 90.5, the People's Station. So I'm Tiquela here with you on Heartbeat Radio, and we are joined by Lisa and Rodney from the Unitrust Corporation. Welcome back. Nice to see you all again.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for having us.
It's always a pleasure to have you because we know once Unitrust touch down, we're going to learn something. Now, today's topic is a very interesting one that I feel like if my parents were here, they would still be holding a big stick over me with it, because today we are talking about building an emergency fund. I admit again, this is one that I have difficulty with. It's always trickling in, little bit. I guess that's better than nothing, but it is so important that we need to talk about this topic today, because sometimes you find yourself in a position, we've all been there, when you find life going a little too good, you'll find, yes, everything is fine, and then you start to get a little paranoid. Maybe something is going to go wrong.
The other shoe will drop.
Yeah, we're not sure what it might be, but something just might happen. So for some folks, that may have been a great month so far, and suddenly the car starts making a strange knocking noise, and not for anything you can go under the bonnet and sort it out yourself. You have to take it to the mechanic. And then, of course, we know that is another fee. There's a figure coming out of your salary. So we want to get some advice, what we can do. How can we approach this? Because it feels like life happening tends to always feel like a financial crisis. You're always, oh my goodness, that is a chunk out of my paycheck. How am I going to pay for other things that you may have been aiming for that month? So can we get some advice on how we can start tackling this life happening financial crisis?
So it's because we're often trying just from our salary to fund these things is what makes it difficult, because your salary is just a specific amount. It's not like infinite.
True.
We all wish our salary was infinite. It's limited, as you said. So, you don't want to feel like you're running a marathon and you didn't even train for it. So what we're trying to do is to help train you to put that in place. So remembering that rainy day defenses, it will help you make the repairs easier. It would ease your frustration in terms of being able to fund some of these things. And it throws your whole budget off when life happens. So ideally what we want to do is help you make that emergency funding. Now, your emergency funding, and most people have different definitions, but in general what it is 3 to 6 months of your expenses. It is not your entire salary. It'd be difficult for us to save that, but if you look at what your expenses are and trying to just save for your expenses, at least you'll have some money put away. So let's give an example there very quickly. Let's say your food is $2,000 and then your bills at home is about $1,000. Let's put in $1,000 for those rainy day or life happens matters. So let's say $4,000. You're trying to save almost 6 fours, $24,000 is what you're trying to save.
Okay.
And God forbid something happens, you have that 24 that you can go behind. And what we are trying to do, is to get you to save that. So once you're able to put away that and it's accessible to you by us being able to, we have a card that is attached to the account, so it makes it easy.
Right.
So like in my case, I have the card, but that card is tucked away home, not to be used.
Right.
Only
it's
the
not
emergency.
To be touched daily.
Correct.
Emergency, then you go get the
then
card.
you go get the card. Right. So you want to be able to have that. And in some cases, if you have a job loss or house repair, whatever you have, you can rely on the funds. And when you do use it, again, you top it back up as you go along.
Nice. I like that. I also like the accessibility of it because, as mentioned, sometimes it's sudden. Sometimes you'll have to drop what you're doing and find that cash immediately. So I like the fact that there's a card attached to that.
Right.
So instead of treating a flat tire like a national emergency, you're saying that we need to create a buffer, so to speak, create some space there, some financial space so that we can still operate. So how do we actually start building that without feeling too overwhelmed?
What we do, you start by turning that panic into a permanent plan.
Okay.
It's about incremental funds that you put aside so that when you have to call upon the funds and that it's there and it's easy to access. So outside of the card that you can access, you can also do electronic transfers
Okay.
between UTC and your bank to also have access to your funds. But if you want to look at this as a permanent plan, you want to be able to save, as Rodney would have indicated, 3 to 6 months of your expenses. And it may seem as though it's a massive mountain to climb, but really and truly, don't let that stop you from starting. And it's always the hardest thing to do is to start. And the key is to really build that buffer so that you are more comfortable when those emergencies come, and to have that peace of mind for you to be able to access those funds. And it's really not about having thousands of dollars that will appear overnight in an investment account. It's really about building the habit of consistency. So the goal is to shift your reality, so that your life surprises don't seem like as though it's chaotic and it's catastrophic, because you can't fathom where you're going to get the money to deal with these emergencies, because every dollar you add today towards your rainy day fund, it is going to be the dollar that you can use tomorrow for that emergency that will come.
That is very true. It's almost like as you said, it's building a habit so that you get yourself used to it. Eventually you'll get there, but you start and get yourself used to it. Now, I'm pretty sure some of our listeners, you're probably thinking back and studying, I have had an experience like that where a rainy day hit and I really did not know where I was going to, how solve everything, just, upside down. Either of you had any experiences like that where you found yourself in a rainy day situation and you really needed to find that emergency cash?
The need for an emergency fund became real for a lot of people, myself included, during COVID, when you had, for me, my personal situation was that my husband was working in an industry that was completely closed. He worked in entertainment. So there was none of that. And then you have the mortgage, you have school fees, because although you did not have the physical school, you had online school that you had to pay for.
Yeah, life was trying to go on, right? Yeah.
And then my dad, in the mix of all of that, he became ill. And back then, you had providers because you needed to get a doctor to him quickly, and you needed to pay for that service so that the doctor come home to deal with my dad's situation. And that cost money.
Yes.
And thankfully, for having that emergency fund, I was able to cover the bills and still be able to take care of my dad's medical expense during that very crucial time and scary time.
Yeah.
And for me, the reality of having an emergency fund became so more fundamental, because had I not had that, what would have been my dad's situation if you didn't have money to now pay for private services to be able to assist him in the speed in which he needed it? So emergency funds are a critical part of your investment journey.
So definitely when we say, 3 to 6 months, I'll just share in that it's what your definition is. And my definition for that is my mortgage payments. I've recently built. I've heard all the scary stories during COVID of who can't afford this and can't pay for that in terms of their loans and that sort of thing. I wanted to have 1 year, 2 years mortgage payment saved. That was my that is my emergency fund.
Right. So I like the fact that you scaled up. So as you said, it's up to you how you would like to. So you give the suggestion of 3 to 6 months of your salary, but in your case, you wanted to make sure the mortgage in particular was covered for.
Right.
Very nice. So I'm pretty sure listeners will start remembering some of their experiences. They'll start thinking of, for me as well, during the pandemic, that was hard. It was hard for a lot of people, and your mind goes back to hearing somebody whisper, make sure you save for a rainy day. So if that touched you, if you had any additional questions, of course, you can reach out to us here on Heartbeat Radio and on Radio 90.5. You can WhatsApp us at 338-4288. If you do have any financial questions, you can send your messages to us, send your questions, and the UTC team will definitely answer and reach out. And on Radio 90.5, you can WhatsApp us as well on 364-9050. So as we continue, we are we reach the point where we have the funds in hand and we want to know where we can put it so that it's safe, but we can actually get it if the stove breaks. So we're talking the actual names of the accounts and how we go about it here now with the unit trust.
Right. So the best place to put that in is our TT Dollar Income Fund. It's a perfect vehicle for an emergency. Because it's designed for stability, safety, it earns steady interest. So while your money is sitting, it's not just sitting earning zero. It's earning 3.35% currently.
Okay.
So that's the most important thing. And the cash is also accessible, as we said before. You could also get a card as attached to the card, as I mentioned.
Right.
So definitely it's that ultimate financial self-defense fund. You know, you can use it for the emergency, but you can use it for anything you want. But again, we're focusing on the emergency funding today. And the best part is the barrier to entry is low. To open an account, the individual just has to have a valid form of ID, a utility bill in their name. It's not in their name. We will work with the one that you provide, or a bank statement and a proof of address to open the account. And once you set up where you don't wait, any extra money you have, you can add in. Again, you have the goal, your 3 to 6 months of your expenses. That's the goal that you're creating for yourself. And then you're saving towards it. However you're doing, that's the goal that you're trying to reach.
And just to expand on what Rodney just shared about the TT Dollar Income Fund, we also have a matching US dollar income fund for those persons who may have their kids who are studying abroad and will always have an emergency abroad and they're far from home, and you would need to save that money in US so that when they call upon you for the emergencies that they have, that you're able to support them once they are abroad. So we also have a matching US income fund account. Currently, our TT income fund account has one of the most competitive rates on the market. It's currently paying 3.35% per annum. And of course, it's compound interest. So of course, interest paid on interest means that overall your yield will be significantly higher than that. For our US income fund, that is 3.64%. Again, another very competitive rate in the market, and for US dollars. So check us out at UTC. Come check us and have a conversation with us, and we'll be happy, delighted to help our investors.
Yes.
And I love that because under the mattress has no interest. So that's a very nice place to make sure that you're saving your money. So for anyone who is tired of the panic cycle, remember you can check out the Unit Trust Corporation. Can we get your contacts and so on once more?
Sure. So come and start a conversation with us. We have 9 conveniently located investment centers across Trinidad and Tobago. We also have our online agents at 6 locations. And of course, you can always visit our website at www.ttutc.com, or you can call us at our contact center 624-8648. And let's have that conversation about starting your emergency fund.
Yes, and I like the fact that it's so easy to start, very little barriers to entry, as you mentioned, Rodney. And you know what? I'm pretty sure they're excited. They are ready to get started. So once again, if you have any questions, listeners, you can feel free to send it in to us via our WhatsApp numbers on Heartbeat Radio 338-4288 and on Radio 90.5, the People Station, 364-9050. So this concludes another episode, another UTC investment frequency show. Learned a lot. Reminders, a lot of reminders as well. And of course, we got a lot of information with regards to saving for an emergency. So thank you again, Lisa and Rodney. Thank you to our partners at UTC. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.